Welcome back to another episode of Reading Between the Lines. Today we're talking about the second volume of Life is Strange here, which is called Waves. I don't know if I know what that title means after reading the volume, but it was really good and I'm excited to talk about it. Um, so, in this issue here, Waves, um, Max is in that alternate reality, like I said, where Rachel Amber's alive and Chloe's there. And later on in the issue, it's actually the volume anyway. It's said that she's been there for 2 years, which is a long time. So she's been in this reality for a while, and she's having this kind of breakdown or whatever because she's missing Chloe from the other reality, her Chloe, the one that she's in love with. Obviously, Rachel and Chloe are together in this timeline. But they all are in this apartment together. They're all living together. And they're just like best friends. And I'm like, oh, finally, we actually get this. It's just nice to see. And it's just them kind of living their lives. And like Chloe's this auto mechanic, like sculpture person. She's like making art out of metal. And she's making this piece for the band from the last issue, who's doesn't obviously know her or Max or anything in this timeline, but they're the cousin of the guy at the something. Somehow they're related. The coffee shop that they go to or something. Anyway, um, so they end up. She's making this piece for them called the Storm, but it's like this spirally thing, and I'm like, oh my god, she's having all these like weird, like crossover memories and stuff from from Max's timeline. I think because Max is there or something, like it's somehow crossing over into her head too. Like she knows about this stuff. Like she knew the lyrics of the band without even knowing who they were or whatever. And they're just like this small indie band, obviously. So it's like it's really interesting. And it's like, yeah, maybe the cousin like was singing those lyrics or something, but it makes more sense that she's like kind of remembering all this stuff from this parallel timeline or whatever. Because how else would she know about the storm, which that never happened in this timeline? So that's really interesting. I really think that's really cool. I really like that a lot. Outside of that, it's just kind of uh, Rachel comforting Chloe and then Max because Max doesn't want to open up about her powers um or whatever, and so they know there's like this secret, so they're all kind of feeling disconnected from each other a little bit, but like they get past it. They're good enough friends, and Rachel's like, Chloe's at first is like, okay, whenever you want to talk we can talk, and then Rachel also kind of says the same thing, and she's like, I know how Chloe works, you just gotta just give her some time, and then whenever you're ready. And Max is all really apologetic about she's doing a lot of like rebuilding for not being there for over the how many years, and she's probably bringing that up a lot, first of all because she feels bad, secondly off because the Chloe in her timeline brought that up a lot, to be like she guilt tripped her with it a lot, so she's kind of carrying the weight of that still. And Rachel even says like, hey, you know what, that's in the past, and Chloe even says it's in the past, but she just doesn't want to give it up, so she's carrying that with her a lot. So it's a lot of those kind of like really personal issues that they're all kind of dealing with, but they all know there's something going on with Max, but she can't tell them, or she doesn't want to tell them, or something to that effect. All right, so she starts seeing this kid, this guy. I don't know. She keeps saying, "Oh, there's that kid again." He's not a kid. He's like their age. Anyway, she starts seeing this guy like everywhere, and she thinks that he's a flicker or whatnot, from a different reality, because like people don't see him. He like disappears a lot and stuff. Well, sorry, spoilers by the way. I think that's pretty obvious, right? It turns out he's also got powers. He's got the powers of invisibility or whatever. So, and then he tells Max about this, and Max tells him about her powers, and she's like, yeah, I think we can really help each other out, kind of thing. Um, And actually, it's interesting, and I have a theory, because this makes a lot of sense. We all said that Rachel had powers, right, after Before the Storm? Well, okay, obviously you guys already know if you've read these comics or whatever, but if they go into that, I hope they go into that. Don't just leave that on the table this time. But this Rachel, Chloe was like, she's different now. When she was at Blackwell, she used to, like, I don't know, spread joy to everybody, and I'm like, some kind of like joy spreading power. Like, I get it. You could just do that naturally, but like, it makes a lot of sense if you actually start to think about it. Why is everyone so obsessed with Rachel Amber? Because she is like this embodiment of joy that like she's leaking on to everyone else, or you know, and that's her power, right? And that's, I'm like, oh man, I hope that's a thing. I hope that they go into some kind of Rachel power thing, because I think that's really cool. Oh, wow. Oh, mind blowing. And think about this. If that's true, then what Mark Jefferson is doing is the exact... He is doing exactly what he is. He's stomping out the ultimate innocence or joy in the world. Or in Blackwell, at least, you know, by killing Rachel Amber, or Nathan did it, you know. He like, everyone seems to think that Nathan did it because he says that, but he also kind of deflects that off onto Nathan like he did it. So did Nathan really kill Rachel Amber with an overdose, or did he kill Rachel Amber maybe with an overdose or something else? You know, we'll never know. Maybe we'll know. Maybe the comics will get into that. I don't know. Anyway, so I just thought that was really interesting. I thought that was fucking cool. A little line in there to tease me, and I'm like, oh, you know, maybe Rachel does have powers, and we're gonna find out about this, you know. This is what's cool about these comics. We're getting a lot more of stuff that we've theorized about for a while now, and we can get more to the backstory and whatnot. Actually, you know what's interesting? Maybe they'll actually go into this whole Rachel Frank thing. I'm getting my hopes up way too high, and the Jefferson thing or whatever. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if they get into any of that, because that's what I always hoped. Like, the third game would be you playing as Rachel Amber, getting to experience all that. Now, that'd be a fucking heartbreaker of a game, I'll tell you what. Then you just die at the end or something. Jesus Christ. Talk about your ultimate terrible, like, fate for a Life is Strange ending, right? Jesus Christ. I gotta say, that'd be just awful. But, yeah, so she starts seeing this kid everywhere. Eventually, we figure out that he has the power to turn invisible or whatever, but he's like a thief, you know, he's like homeless thief kind of. He's stealing for everybody. It turns out, like, he saw his friend get shot or something. I don't know if that's what brought on his power, but that's kind of what's implied here. Also, at one point he says, like, something about Caulfield, and I don't know if he was talking about Max. Maybe he actually is related to Max, like, somehow. He's like, Max is... Or he is Max or something, you know, in this universe. I don't know. I don't know. He says something about Max. He says Caulfield, and why would he say that? Like, Max wasn't there or anything, and I didn't see anything in the frame that implied Max was there. I don't know. I want to see. It's going to be interesting with him. Anyway, I do feel bad for Max that she's in this timeline, but I do kind of hope that this timeline works out, because Chloe and Rachel being there together and stuff is cool. And, you know, maybe Max could be happy with this guy, you know, this Tristan guy, unless he's her brother or something. I don't want that, you know, or or what if he's her, and then, like, that's weird, right? You can't, like, date yourself or whatever. Isn't that, like, that's like the ultimate incest or something, right? That's so fucked up. Anyway, alternate universe you or whatever. They actually, didn't they do that? Yeah, they did that in, What We Do in the Shadows, like the two clones, or, well, the original and the clone gets together. Like, how does that work, you know? I don't know. Anyway, fucking some weird shit, man. Anywho, so, yeah, so, then they, like, go to this party or whatever, well, so Rachel, there's another point in this whole thing. Rachel's actually going to go away to do some acting stuff. She's, like, kind of she's sad at the beginning, and that's what Chloe notices, is like she's never really like this. She was always this optimistic, joyful person, but she's like she hasn't been like that recently. She's like something's wrong, and I can tell Max, and blah blah blah, and then. But she gets this gig over on the other side, the East Coast, when they're on the West Coast. They're in LA, by the way, which is what they always wanted, and so that's fucking nice. I like that they made it to LA finally, in some capacity. Maybe oh god, I don't want to jinx it. Maybe this will be finally in a not game form. We can have a happy Life is Strange. I'm pushing my luck by asking for it. I'm jinxing it so hard, but maybe, just maybe it'll happen. Anyway, yeah, so she's gonna go and do that. So that it'll be interesting. I don't know if they're going like with no, because they said they're gonna like keep in contact and stuff, and I don't think Rachel would pull a Max on this one. As I say, I don't know if they're going for Chloe and Max again, like in this universe. I don't think that's really gonna happen. Is she gonna try to make it back to her universe? I don't know. What happens is they go to this party, right? And Max hasn't used her powers in a long time, intentionally anyway. So, but this girl like overdoses or whatever. Like the one who's throwing the party, they allude to it earlier, like, hey, you shouldn't do drugs here because they're like it's a Russian roulette. It's like a gamble whether it's gonna be good or not. Like whether or not you're gonna have a reaction like that or something. Like something bad's gonna happen. So yeah, so she like somebody calls 911 or whatever, but then Max goes outside to call 911. And she sees these guys that were like at this. So these guys were the ones who shot the Tristan's friend before, and like this drug deal or something. I don't really. Yeah. Anyway, there's like something with that. So he finds their bag again. So like this is all like connecting them again, like fate's putting them all together again or whatever. And they're like yelling at him in an alley, and they're gonna like probably kill him or whatever, because like that's how it is or whatnot. So and Max sees this, and she's like, oh man, this girl overdosed, and like he's about to be dead or whatever. And she's like, I don't think you see it, but you like know that she uses her powers, because then like it's a chapter cut is what it is. And then you like see that like the police show up, or the paramedics or whatever show up right when the girl's ODing. So yeah, so then they save her, and then they're all like, wow, is somebody a psychic here or something, because like they called me beforehand. At first they're like, oh, is this a prank or something? But like they're there the moment that she's like going out, and then Max goes to warn Tristan about that thing too. So yeah, Max used her powers again. That's pretty fucked up. We'll see if that has any consequences, because last time, whole fucking town died because of that. So in this canonically, that's what happened. So yeah, but anyway, so she goes to warn him, and then she's actually there at the beginning of that. So the guys come and harass her basically, and then Tristan like sneaks away with his invisibility power, which he feels really guilty about, because that's like the same thing he did when his friend died or whatever. But Max ends up at the with these guys there at like some place, some their hideout or whatever, and he goes to help her, but for a second there, she's in a pretty bad spot, and she's like contemplating, what if I rewind, but like what would I even do differently, and blah 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 blah. And then he's there, and then she like distracts him, those two guys, and he like gets the jump on him, and then like they're all like confessing what they did, like they killed the guy or whatever. And of course it's the classic, like Rachel Amber comes from like over there and she's like on her phone, oh, I'm live streaming to like 100 and or two, yeah, like 1.2 million people. Yeah, she's like an influencer or whatever, Rachel Amber, which makes sense. I mean, and especially with my theory, if it's true, it would make a lot of sense. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so she's like live streaming it, and so she like caught everything on camera, them saying that they killed the kid and all of that. Um, so yeah, so and then they're like, oh yeah, we already called the police, and Chloe's there out too, obviously, but she's not. It's more about Rachel and what she's doing. So these guys like run, they leave the drugs there because she's like, yeah, you really want to be caught on live stream with these drugs, like when the cops are gonna be chasing after you, and they're like, good point, just leave them. So I don't know, I don't think that does anything, but I just like, yeah, she scared him straight, basically. I don't know, maybe. They'll probably, I don't know, maybe the cops will catch him, maybe not. I don't know if this is even going to play into anything, or if this is going to matter. Um, but it's just interesting, you know, they did all this heroic stuff, but Max used her powers, so it's like, that's definitely gonna, that's gonna affect some things, probably. Um, and then at the end of the, I was gonna say the end of the episode, because that's what I feel like this is. It's just like another episode of Life is Strange, right? At the end of the issue there, the volume, um, she's like, I'm ready to talk to you guys, and I want to tell you guys, like, about, you know, I want to talk to you guys, and, you know, implying that she's going to tell them about her power in the next issue. So, we'll see what happens, you know? Oh, also, Max has a tattoo of a butterfly on her wrist or whatever, and I'm like, a blue butterfly, obviously, like, symbolizing Chloe and all of that. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I love that, that she got that, you know? So, like, overall, like, oh my god, this was such a good issue. I can't wait to read more. Like, I'm so excited about this. This is great, you know? We're going in such a good direction. They're definitely gonna, like, not stay in this timeline, though, I bet you. And then Rachel Amber's just gonna die again, and it's gonna be all heartbreaking, because this is Life is Strange. You can't have nice things in Life is Strange. But anyway, I'm really liking the direction that they're taking so far, and, I'm excited to see what happens next. I really am. So, until next time, just, you know, remember that it never hurts to read between the lines, and I'll see you guys in the next volume. Jay-Z out.